Hi, I'm Jeff. I'm the founder of Belli, and we build air cargo software for airlines. I'm the former chief product officer at AirAsia, and today I'll be sharing the hidden insights in air cargo that led to starting Belli. Air cargo has stayed the same for 50 years, probably never heard much about it, until recently. On average, airlines fly with the bottom of the plane 85% empty. And it's a shame because filling the belly doubles the operating margins of a flight. You've already paid for the aircraft and the pilot, so cargo revenue is free money. So how is it possible that marketplaces like Temu, Shein, and TikTok Shop barely existed 12 months ago and are now outcompeting Amazon in the US and Europe? Because all of this is coming on air cargo. This is the impact when Temu enters a new market. Air cargo capacity in an entire country triples overnight. And when most people think about air cargo, they think about names like UPS and FedEx. But when you study their aircraft leasing patterns, air cargo as a percentage of their total revenue decreases every year because this is shifting to the airlines. So if there's so much growth in e-commerce and air cargo, why do airlines still fly with the belly 85% empty? Because airlines are stuck using legacy cargo software. You can tell just by looking at the interface that it sucks. Airlines spend over $1 million a year on the software, yet cargo workflows still rely on paper and spreadsheets. And this lack of efficiency has a terrible impact on the environment because reusing empty belly space means less cargo-only flights in the air. So at Belli, we build software for airlines to increase cargo revenue and reduce aviation's environmental footprint. On the surface, we provide a desktop application and a mobile app to replace paper and spreadsheets, and an API platform to connect it all. 90% of airlines today don't have a booking page for their cargo, so our booking page helps grow their direct sales. Underneath the hood, the software manages the complexity of air cargo. For example, the fuel and passengers on every flight changes, so our software helps provide real-time visibility into the remaining capacity. Air cargo needs to maximize for both weight and volume, so we help take a shipment of engine parts and combine it with something light like flowers. And the moment that you walk off of plane, the airline's job is done. But our software needs to coordinate warehouse and trucking systems before and after the flight. The number one problem to solve in any aviation software startup is sales velocity. It's notoriously difficult to sell to airlines. Legacy cargo software typically takes 24 months to sell and install. Our software cut that down to 4 months, and it will only get faster each year. In the past 72 hours, as in, like I literally just got off the plane, we met with 5 airlines in 3 days and now own 90% of the air cargo market in the Philippines. But Belli is more than just ERP software. And to understand the vision, think about buying a flight. You search on a marketplace, book on an airline's website, and then the airline's software processes the booking. One company makes money behind the scenes on all 3 of these actions, and that's what we want to do for cargo. We build cargo software, process bookings from the cargo customers, and distribute content to cargo marketplaces. It's reshaping the future of air cargo, one airline at a time. And when it comes to founder market fit, my name is Jeff, and I'm the former chief product officer at AirAsia Cargo and also led aviation and logistics projects at McKinsey. With my background in building aviation software, 4 years ago, SpaceX called me personally and asked me to build the flight system for their launch facility. So the next time you fly, pay a bit more attention on what's happening on the bottom of the plane, because we are Belli, and air cargo is the world's best kept secret that's been hiding in plain sight. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Jeff. Great presentation. We have Nick, Amy, Michael, Ross, if you'd like to pop up. Who would like to ask Jeff the first question? Ross?
Maybe from there first. Yeah. So what is the biggest challenge that will brought you to acquire an airline customer for using the Belli software?
The most difficult part is convincing them to change their ERP, right? It's almost like asking an airline to change their PSS. So what we actually do to start and what we figured out was actually doing a data backup. So we sell them a cloud service to basically make a mirror of them. So it's easier for them to change in 6 months. So I think definitely when we first started, we tried to go in and immediately try to sell the cargo software, and it was a little bit difficult to do that.
So it's the transition period that they need to run the two different type of the software, the legacy one and also shifting to the Belli, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're not running two different ERP systems, but we are backing up the data in the meantime. They're paying for that. And then what that does is we start to time it around the exit of their existing cargo contract, and then we can flip a switch once that's over. But typically we have to organize around the timeline of their existing ERP.
Yeah.
Also, like it's quite hard to sell to airlines. Like you can't just pick up the phone. You have to like go and meet with them. So I think that was also something that we discovered.
Yeah, Jeff, Nick Cox here. Thanks for the presentation. My question was exactly that. How are you tackling the notoriously long sales cycle of selling to airlines? And keen to see whether there's any difference between LCCs and legacies in the way they're looking at this.
So it's very important because we're early stage to make sure we find the right design partners. So there's certain airlines that benefit from this more than others. So airlines in Southeast Asia benefit more than airlines in Europe and North America, and down to 3 reasons. Number one, geography plays a bigger part. So for example, Europe and North America, it's all land, right? So you can just put stuff on a truck. But the Philippines, for example, was a great air cargo market because of geography. Everything's an island. You can't drive a truck from Cebu to Manila. Also, airport labor costs are 7 times cheaper in Southeast Asia, and also cross-border e-commerce as well. So when we shop on Lazada, TikTok Shop, all that stuff is actually not coming from the destination country. Low-cost carriers as well works really well because they're flying one route 14 different times, so it's very predictable for that cargo flights. And then in terms of the customer acquisition question, definitely, I think in the early days, it was a little bit difficult to get airlines on the phone. So now every 2 weeks, I'm speaking at an air cargo conference, and I'm hoping there's a better way, but I've had to go to like Kazakhstan, China, like all these random cargo conferences and just talk to. Also, the median age at these conferences is like 65 as well. So it's not like young and hip like Phocuswright.
Thank you.
Jeff, Ross here. How big do you think the market opportunity is for this sort of software, and what's your pricing model or models?
Sure. So we'll start with the TAM. So right now, the market for selling software to airlines for cargo is about 600 million. That's the sort of first layer. The second and third layer are layers that don't actually exist yet. That's processing bookings on an airline's website, kind of like your direct booking page. And then the other one is kind of like a GDS to distribute to contents. And essentially what we're expecting, and what I saw at McKinsey, was a rise of 1% online penetration to 80% over the next 80 years. So think of it as like flights in 2000 or like tours and activities in 2018. So combined, it has about a TAM of about 1.8 billion over the next 5 or 10 years. Your second question is on the pricing model. So on the high side, a large complex airline, like we're paying about $1 million a year for the software. What we're doing to start will probably be around in the $5,000 to $10,000 per month range for some of the smaller airlines. We can't attack the large airlines yet. Our first line of code was only written like 2 months ago. So for now, we're starting with like very small aircraft that are very small airlines, 5 to 10 aircraft. For some of the large complex airlines, like we focus on a data warehouse to back up the data so that in 12 months, when we're ready to sell them a complex product, we already have the data ready to go.
All right. Thanks very much, Jeff. I'm going to stop you there. Thank you, judges, for your questions. All right. Well done. Okay. Next up, we have Tally Goodman, founder of Market for Good. Tally, please bring up your screen and make sure that you're off mute. And when you start speaking, you'll have 5 minutes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much and good evening.
That's me a few years ago after selling my first company, Easy Taxi. At that time, I was traveling extensively, and I've started looking into
Sorry, just 1 second.
That's me a few years ago after
on.
selling my first company, Easy Taxi. At that time, I started traveling frequently, and I realized that.
I think we're having a
Hi, everybody. My name is Paul, and that's me a few years ago after selling my first company called Easy Taxi. At that time, I was traveling extensively, and I started looking into business aviation as a potential way to
All right, I just muted him manually. Sorry about that.
All right, Kelly, we'll restart the clock. All right.
Okay, perfect. I'll start again. Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Kelly Goldman, the founder of Market for Good. So let's start. So there are so many environment challenges today that we need to deal with. The world is becoming warmer. There is plastic pollution, water pollution, waste management challenges. On the social side, I don't know if you know, but almost 1 out of 11 people lives on $2 a day. When you look at diversity, equity, and inclusion, we really need to treat better the more vulnerable in our society. But why am I sharing all of this? Because they all connect. All those challenges can scale or be minimized by our procurement decision. It all starts and ends with our and the corporate procurement decision. The hospitality industry is responsible to 5 to 10% of the global challenges I just shared. And this is why we are here, to drive positive social and environmental impact, to transform procurement. Today, the World Economic Forums tell us that organization needs to move from sustainable practices to restoration and regeneration of nature and social systems. But how do we do it? One day, I was walking with my daughter at the supermarket. I noticed her choosing the product she wanted, looking at the health score of it. At that moment, I understood we need to create this simplicity and bring it to the sustainability space. With that in mind, we created Market for Good. Market for Good is a B2B marketplace for sustainable impact, like Social Alibaba. But one of its uniqueness is that every product and every service have the social and environmental score, something that is easy to understand, like on the milk. The users, of course, can go and read the rest of the information on the platform. Here, I wanted to share an example of how we drive impact. Market for Good sits in the middle, where we bring social enterprises and the beneficiaries, in these examples, is refugees and corporate. It is a mind-blowing, the potential of impact that hotels, for example, can make just by shifting the procurement to people in need or sustainable resource. Today, the regulators request companies to measure and report the social and environmental impact. Our system does it all, but we didn't stop there. We created another tool. Now our clients can understand and choose the impact. They can see the carbon emission. They can choose the impact, which population they want to impact. They see the geographic impact. Going back to the social and environmental suppliers, most of them are unsophisticated startups. We help them to scale and grow as well. We have today close to 50 corporate clients buying products from sustainable and environmental suppliers and generating impact on our platform. 80% of them are repeating clients, and the average ticket is about $3,000. To learn more about the market fit, we created an in-depth survey. I can happily share with you that 94% of our clients and our leads are looking at elevating communities and looking to connect the sustainable impact that they do to their reporting, and they're looking for transparency data, that is transparency into sustainability. So the Forbes and other research actually tells us that the market is huge. It's $1 trillion market. When we're looking at Asia, it's 1/3 of it. And for us, just testing the water, we already generated $500,000 under our SOM. So the challenge is real, but so is the opportunity. Accordingly, you can see our projection, because what we do, every company needs. We generate revenue from the report system that we do, for the carbon credits that we sell, and from the sales. We already created APIs to SAP Ariba, which is the biggest procurement system in the world, and we're already testing it with Johnson & Johnson. We are part of the Singapore FinTech Association. We are part of RAISE, which is a Singapore arm for social enterprises. We are recognized as company for good. We utilize technology and AI to broaden our reach via lead generation, and we have an amazing advisory board. But the most important is always the team. Our global team is united by the mission and values across 3 continents, bringing deep expertise in AI, in sustainability and procurement. I hold masters in system engineering, and I transformed from the aerospace and defense to sustainability space a decade ago. We all share a commitment to empower people and protect the environment, because it all starts and ends with our procurement decision. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Tali. All right, judges, come on up. If you have questions for Tali, Nick, Amy, Michael, Ross, who'd like to start?
Hey, Tali, thanks for the presentation. I think I understood really well the need that you're trying to address, but I'm not sure I actually understood how you have a standardized way of determining the environmental impact of all of the procurement decisions. So can you talk a little bit more about how you would decide that in the marketplace?
Yes, of course. Let me just jump to it. So what we do, we actually collect the data from all our suppliers. We look at different level of the data. So we look at the quality of the data, the social and environmental risk of each one of them. And the most important part is the social, environmental, proactive action that they do. So when you see a product, as I shared on Market for Good, we created this yin and yang, and I'll try to jump to it very, very quickly. So this one is just for you as a user to understand what's the impact, what's the social impact, how strong this product on the social or environmental impact. So this is something that gives a very clear message. On top of it, we take the data, because today the regulators are asking for every company to report the social and environmental impact. So we give them this data, like plug and play directly to their sustainability reporting system. Every company, and of course the hotel industry, have different kind of reporting system, and we actually connect to all of them. So we have them with the sustainability reporting system. We have them actually to generate impact. Because what I just explained is that, just like, let's think in another example I gave here, a plastic that is collected by refugees. But just like an hotel that have 600 rooms, and now buy the soap or shampoo from a village, from the refugees, or from low-income families. Now, all of a sudden, we have hundreds of those stories that now the families can send the kids to school all of a sudden. You take a family out of poverty and change their life forever. And this is the kind of stories and the impact that we do through Market for Good. Did I answer your question?
Thank you.
Hey, Tali, are your clients the buyers or the sellers? And if it's the sellers, how do you avoid the same problem that the financial rating agencies have run into?
My buyers are the corporate clients. So we actually are, it's a free stage for every social or environmental organization. So we screen every organization. We have our own screening, and this is the great system that you see. And by the way, KPMG has been authorizing it now, auditing and authorizing it. And to answer your question, we help the companies to understand. So the vendors, the social and environmental vendors don't pay, but the one that pays are the MNCs, like the hotel industry and other multinationals.
Yeah.
Hi, Tali. When you're talking about the marketplace, it's very important that you will generate enough demand. So I'm wondering, how do you marketing the market for goods, and also let those potential corporate, they know this platform and will make their commercial related procurement decision from here?
Tali, if you can keep it to 10 seconds.
Okay. So as I said, I actually started my sustainability journey a decade ago. So before we created Market for Good, we already had a list of MNCs, and they're all coming to us. As I said before, what we do, everybody needs. So as the previous competitor just shared, as long as you go to any events, and anyone that we speak with later connect with us and see how we can collaborate.
Okay.
Of course, yeah.
Thanks very much. Thanks, Tali. Thank you, judges. All right, next up, we have May Kim from Amuse Travel. May, please bring up your presentation and double check your mute button. When you start speaking, we will put 5 minutes on the clock, and you'll have 5 minutes of presentation and 3 minutes of Q&A. Can I start?
Good to go?
Yes. Good evening, everyone. I am May, the Global Director of Amuse Travel. Amuse Travel is a growing company that provides personalized care services for family travelers. We call those specialized care providers for individuals with disabilities, senior parents, and young children Amuse. Many of our employees have kids, and last week our CEO used our Amuse care service while traveling with their child who has developmental disabilities. And they use the service for 4 hours a day, which allow the parents to enjoy their favorite activities such as snorkeling and massage during the time. Amuse Travel is a company with a deep understanding and experience in providing services that enhance the joy and value of family travel. This is important for every family member to have a personalized experience during a trip, but the reality is that many destinations lack specialized care services for family members who require extra support. And almost 30% of travelers need care services, but it is often hard to find travel products tailored to these needs through global travel agencies or online travel sites like Agoda and Booking.com. So Amuse Travel has launched a care service specifically for family travelers. We offer specialized Amuse services, utilize AI technology to provide a vast amount of family travel content, and offer hotels and resort packages tailored for family travelers. Amuse Travel offers affordable but professional tour services and has set up safety system with social welfare organizations, institutions, and schools. Amuse Travel has developed the AI, DID, LBS technologies, setting the stage for market expansions. Our service brokers Amuse hotels and resorts and travel products for revenue generation. Also creating social impacts related to family travel for stakeholders. As you can see, we will keep growing by expanding into new countries, building on our success in South Korea and Southeast Asia. In the competitive travel market, we stand out by providing family care, personal, customized family travel content, and suitable hotel and resort packages. Since the recent launch of our web services, customer acquisition and revenue have doubled. And we are set to launch to our technology-based app services in October to integrate web traffic and attract new customers. We need funding. We aim to close the pre-A round by the end of the 4th quarter. Amuse Travel is composed of a team that has weathered the pandemic together with no resignations in the past 2 years. And we are confident in our ability to grow into Asia's largest family travel platform. Yeah, thank you for listening. This is all about, I want to introduce our Amuse Travel. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, May. Judges, please come on back up. All right, Amy, Nick, Ross, who'd like to present the first question?
Sure, happy to get it started. Thank you for the presentation, May. May, could you tell us a little bit about how your customers find your service?
The way they found our service is actually at this moment is like through the phone or email services. But as I mentioned on the presentation, we are developing our web service and application service as well. So soon they can find our service and can contact to us with the application and the website as well.
Great, thank you.
Hi,
Hey, May,
May.
can you talk?
Yeah,
Sorry,
your
Amy.
question.
Go ahead, Amy.
Please.
Okay, a quick question. I think in your slides you mentioned that you all have some part-time the partners to provide the service. I'm wondering that how to standardize the service and also the scalability of the service.
I am so sorry. Could you repeat again? Because I couldn't catch
Yeah.
very well.
I remember in the slides you mentioned you work with some kind of part-time maybe workers or helpers to provide the service, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm wondering how to standardize the service because for family or the elderly, the service quality is quite important. And the second question is how to ensure that if you have like more demands, that how to scale up the service you have.
So we are contacting a welfare center, and then that means that they do have a qualified care people, if you know what I mean. So we do use the institutions and the companies that have the professional caregiver people. So we are using those services to provide a human services as they have a background of the people who have a difficulty when they are traveling, like disability people, like disabled people or the senior members or the parents who have a young child.
Okay, thanks, Amy and Nick. Ross, do you have a quick question?
Yeah, just quickly, mate. How are you prioritizing international markets, and what's your go-to-market strategy, beyond Korea?
The thing is, our business model is quite simple because we sell our products and then we use our travel products as a marketing contents, and then we use it again in the website or application. Then people can use the travel contents as their schedule. So we use that structure not only in Korea but also in Asia market and also the global market. So we put the less effort, but it can create a large amount of the aspects, I believe. So
Okay, thank you so much, May Kim from Amuse Travel. Thank you, judges. All right, next up we have a Scaleup from Hong Kong in Francois Chaboudier with Neoma. Francois, please go ahead. As soon as you're ready, we will start the clock.
Thank you very much. I'm ready. I'm going to share the presentation. Here we go. Good evening, good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here with you today. I'm Francois Chaboudier, the co-founder and CEO of company Neoma. And today I'll present you our product called the GA platform, which is a staff assistant delivering seamless operations and world-class experiences at scale. What is a good experience? A good experience needs 5 attributes. You need to engage with me, hear me, empower me, delight me, and know me. The problem is that every attribute is limited by the ability for staff to access data in real time and to access even insights in real time. If we take one example, the Peninsula Hotel in Hong Kong, they have more than 20 ways to greet somebody. Between Mr. and Madam to Queen or King, they have 20 ways to greet somebody. So if on top of that, you add the VIP status, the room number, the allergies, the preferences, it's impossible for staff to actually access the guest data in real time that has been collected over the past decades. And on top of that, the staff turnover cost is around $6,000 per staff per year, which means as long as companies will do things manually, it will affect not only the quality of the experience, but also the bottom line. So the mission of the GAIA platform is to provide seamless operations for world-class journeys at scale. Imagine at a restaurant in a hotel, a couple could approach the receptionist. The receptionist could say, "Good evening, Mrs. and Mr. Wong, happy anniversary. Your window table is ready." The data is already in the system. The challenge is how you can get the data in real time for a very seamless and high quality guest experience. The way we measure the growth is to measure how much we can save to our partners. Last year, we helped them save around $120 million from automated workflows. We created so far 600,000 guest journeys on the platform, and we covered more than 150 locations across 13 countries. Our DNA is pretty much in between travel, hospitality, and sports. As you can see, we have worked even with companies like FIFA for the past 2 World Cups in Qatar and Australia and New Zealand. So the GAIA platform is a staff assistant that is using AI and other technologies to automate workflows and deliver world-class experiences at scale. It is patented in the US, in Greater China, and Singapore, and it has 3 components. The first component is the GAIA app, which is basically the best companion for staff on the ground to tell them what they should know about the customers when they're entering facilities. The second piece are the connectors, where we can connect the digital world, point of sales, POS, CRM, etc., and the real world through either cameras, our clients' existing cameras, or dual key cards. And we have the GAIA platform that is able to measure the workflows and all the KPIs. It's basically, our vision and what we're trying to build is a new customer relationship. Is a relationship where the staff don't need to ask the person again, what is their room number, what they should know about them. Everything should be very seamless and in the palm of their hand for human-centric experiences. How does it create value? First and foremost, on productivity. We save around $3,000 per staff per year by saving an enormous amount of time for them not to search data manually anymore. And on top of that, inefficient tasks contributes to turnover. So if you help your staff with automation, they will actually spend more time in your company. Second piece, sales. We have measured an increase of 15% additional revenue as a result of seamless and highly personalized experiences. We also measure greater satisfaction for the guests. The best example is with the FIFA World Cup, where we help FIFA provide a seamless and highly personalized journey from airports, transport, hotels, and stadiums. That's what the staff could see. They could see the right profile with the right insights of the guests at every step of the journey. Let me show you a quick video about it.
Okay, thank you.
And I will stop share the screen.
Time, we'll have to bring the judges up. Thanks very
Thank you.
much. All right, judges. Ross, would you like to kick us off?
Yeah, can you give us a couple of examples of how in practice this is useful for the hotel workers?
So basically, if you're a guest and you approach the restaurant, the staff will know, let's say, your bookings and allergies and preferences before you need to remind them who you are, and then they will need to manually search in the POS what matters about you. If we look back over the past 40 years, the amount of data that we as guests have shared to hoteliers, and not only hoteliers, but any company where we value the brand and experience, is enormous. And this amount of data keeps increasing every year. But the staff capacity is the same. They don't have the ability to retrieve that information real quick.
And so what's the technical differentiator here that makes this different from some other sort of CRM package that they may have traditionally been using?
So we have access to physical touch points. So as you could see on the FIFA video, for instance, we use a Bluetooth tag. For hotels, it's the same. We use a Bluetooth key card, Bluetooth and NFC key card. The Bluetooth signals give a 20 meters range around you so that when you approach a staff, your profile pops up automatically. But we also do it with camera. We can plug in on existing cameras at the entrance of the lounge, of the pool, of the restaurant, and your profile will pop up. And that profile is dynamic, which means if you approach the lounge and right after the restaurant, the data that appear is related to that facility.
Okay.
Francois, can you speak a little bit to privacy concerns and confidentiality? Because I'm also thinking it could be a little creepy for a guest if they're suddenly feeling that they're tracked and observed by cameras and everyone knows where they are. So just love to understand that angle as well.
Sure. Thank you, Michael, for the question. So we use something called privacy by design and security by design, which means that guests have to consent for this VIP experience. Every time it's nearly 100%. Because first of all, we don't track people. We don't know where they are. It's just when they're approaching a facility, before staff asking for their identity and searching manually for their profile, the profile pops up. So if you belong to a brand, to a luxury brand especially, you want this information to be done seamlessly without you repeating yourself all the time. So it's based on consent, but people love this because they have finally a human-centric experience from the staff without repeating themselves all the time.
Can you share the percentage of the consent the customer actually they accepted?
It's between 95 and 99%. For the World Cup, it was something around that. Most of the time, it's something like this. The way we help our clients, and even think of yourself as a guest, the last time you've been to a high-end hotel, if you go to Four Seasons or Rosewood or Ritz-Carlton, you don't always want to repeat the things that matters about you that you repeated in the past. Technology here can really help both the guest expectations and the staff to minimize queuing, to have a high-touch experience. That's why people love it, and I don't think it will turn back because it's all about personalization today, and service is a key differentiator between hotel brands.
All right, Francois, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much for your presentation.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, that is a wrap for Asia. So we've had a company that is maximizing airplane belly. We've had social enterprise maximizing sustainable procurement. We've had a company focusing on care during travel and automation of personalized experiences. So a pretty nice, diverse group of presenters for Asia. Thank you all very much. And thanks again to our judges, Nicholas Cox from Velocity Ventures, Amy Way from Trip.com, Michael Dykes from Expedia Group, Ross Beach from WeGo, and Timothy O'Neill Dunn behind the scenes from T21 Impact.